So this is my first time officially using an iPad to write. So please don't judge me on the basis of my writing. Instead, judge me on the basis of my content. So let's begin the topic of today's video. And it's not proteins actually. It's something that you'll come to know soon enough. So what actually are proteins? Here's one amino acid. Here's another amino acid. Here's another amino acid. Here's another amino acid. All these amino acids, they are connected to one another with the help of a bond. And this bond right here is called the peptide bond. So what we get? We get a chain of amino acids, or shall I say a polymer of amino acid. And that's exactly what a protein is. A protein is a polymer of amino acid. Today's video is not going to be on proteins. It's going to be on amino acid. See, amino acid itself is a monomer of protein. Amino acid has various types or classified under various criteria, and that's going to be the main topic of this video. But before that, let's look at few facts about amino acid. In this world, there are a total of 300 amino acids. And among these 300 amino acids, only 20 amino acids are actually responsible for synthesis of protein. The rest are not. Only 20 amino acids among the 300 amino acids present in this world are responsible for the synthesis of protein. And these 20 amino acids have been given a special name. They are called standard or normal or primary amino acids. So here's the first term that you need to know. Standard or normal or primary amino acids are the amino acids that are responsible for synthesis of protein. There are 20 of them. However, there are two that have been newly discovered, and they are selenosystine, I'm just going to write it at the corner, and pyrrolysine. These are the two amino acids or standard amino acids that have been newly discovered. So let's take an example of standard amino acid. This right here is glycine. Glycine can be represented in two ways. Either you can use the abbreviated form of this glycine, where you just use the first three letters of glycine, GLY, or you could just use the symbol, where you are going to use the first letter of the word glycine, that is G. So these are the two ways in which you can represent glycine. Next, let's look at the structure of amino acid. Structure of amino acid. So amino acid contains a carbon. This carbon forms 4 covalent bonds. It forms a covalent bond with hydrogen. It forms a covalent bond with carboxylic group. It forms a covalent bond with amino group, and then it also forms a covalent bond with side chain. Among these 4 covalent groups, hydrogen remains the same, carboxylic group remains the same, and so does the amino group. These 3 groups forming covalent bond with carbon remains the same in all amino acids. However, it is the side chain that is actually variable. So the alkyl group, the side chain is the variable part of amino acid, and it is the side chain that determines the type of amino acid. So now that we have talked about the type of amino acid, let's look at the classification of amino acid as well. So classification of amino acid. Amino acid can be classified on the basis of various criteria, such as structure of side chain. So here's your carbon to which hydrogen is attached, carboxylic acid is attached, amino group is attached, and a side chain is attached. This side chain is variable, and depending on the structure of this side chain, right here, the amino acid are of different types. Second is on the basis of chemical property or chemical nature. On the basis of chemical nature, that is either the amino acid is acidic, basic, or neutral. Thirdly, on the basis of metabolic activity, that is whether the amino acid ends up giving glucose or ketone bodies or both upon metabolism. Fourthly, on the basis of nutritional importance, that is whether or not the amino acid is essential or non-essential. And finally, on the basis of polarity of side chain. So what are the various bases of classification? There's your structure of side chain. Depending upon the type of side chain that is present in amino acid, it can be of various types. Second, on the basis of chemical nature of amino acid, that is in a solution, is the amino acid acidic, basic, or neutral? Thirdly, on the basis of metabolic activity, that is upon metabolism, whether the amino acid gives glucose, ketone bodies, or both of them. On the basis of nutritional importance, that is whether the amino acid is essential or non-essential. And finally, on the basis of polarity of side chain, that is whether the side chain of amino acid is hydrophobic or hydrophilic. Let's look at each of these classifications one by one. So first we have on the basis of structure of side chain. Under this we have A, aliphatic amino acid. Now you might have already guessed from the name itself. Aliphatic amino acids are the amino acids in which the side chain contains an aliphatic group, that is either a hydrogen or some kind of alkyl group. The examples of these are glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, and isoleucine. Number B, hydroxy amino acid. Hydroxy amino acid, where the alkyl group contains hydroxyl group. Examples are serine, threonine, and if you are wondering, yes, I'm looking at the examples because even I have not been able to memorize them. Number C, sulfur containing amino acid. Sulfur containing amino acid. What do they contain? They contain sulfur. Examples are cysteine, methionine. Number D, dicarboxylic acid and their derivatives, that is the amide derivative. So the alkyl group contains either a carboxylic group or an amide group. Examples are aspartic acid, aspargine, glutamic acid, and glutamine. Number E, diamino acid. Diamino amino acid. So the alkyl group contains an amino group. Examples: lysine, arginine, and histidine. Number F, aromatic amino acid. So the side chain contains an aromatic ring. Examples are phenylalanine, tyrosine, and tryptophan. And finally, there's your amino acid or heterocyclic amino acid. This only has one example, and that is proline. Now, the reason it is called amino acid instead of amino acid is due to its structure. So, here's your carbon. To this carbon, hydrogen is attached, carboxylic group is attached, and then an amino acid is supposed to be attached. However, instead of an amino acid, what we find is a heterocycle with amino group, which looks something like this. So here's the amino group. This right here is the amino group. Due to the presence of amino group in proline, it is called an amino acid. Next. So that was on the basis of structure of side chain. Amino acids have been divided into various categories on the basis of the structure of the side chain. Up next, we have on the basis of chemical nature. That is, once you form a solution of amino acid, does it give basic nature, neutral nature, or acidic nature? If it gives neutral nature, then it's your neutral amino acid. See, neutral amino acid include all monocarboxylic acid. Monocarboxylic acid. So here's your carbon. To this carbon, hydrogen is attached, a carboxylic group is attached, and an amino group is attached. So a carboxylic group is already attached, an amino group is already attached, then obviously in the side chain you are not going to find any other amino group or any other carboxylic group, because one amino group is already present here and one carboxylic group is already present there. So it's already a monocarboxylic acid. So in the alkyl group, there won't be any other amino or any other carboxylic group. So all those amino acids that don't have amino group or carboxylic group in the side chain are come under neutral amino acids. So the examples include aliphatic side chain containing amino acids, where the side chain contains hydrogen or some alkyl group. Hydroxylic side chain containing amino acid, where the side chain contains hydroxylic group. Sulfur containing amino acid, sulfur side chain containing amino acid, where the side chain contains sulfur. Amino acid, where the side chain is an amino group. Similarly, aromatic side chain containing amino acid, aromatic side chain containing amino acid, where the side chain is actually an aromatic ring. Similarly, amide side chain containing amino acid, where the side chain is an amide group. So in all these cases that I have shown here, aliphatic side chain, hydroxylic side chain, sulfur side chain, amino acid, aromatic side chain, amide side chain, one amino group is present right here and one carboxylic group is present right here. There's no extra amino group or carboxylic group in the side chain, because the side chain only contain either alkyl group or hydroxylic group or sulfur or amino group or aromatic group or amide group. These are not present. Number B, if the solution comes out to be acidic, then the amino acid is acidic. So you have acidic amino acid. Acidic amino acid include all monoamino, dicarboxylic acids. So here's your carbon. To its hydrogen is attached, carboxylic group is attached, and an amino group is attached. And then there's your side chain. To this side chain, one more amino group is attached. And all those amino acids in which the side chain contain carboxylic group come under acidic amino acids. So the examples contain carboxylic side chain containing amino acid, where the side chain contains a carboxylic group, such as aspartic acid and your glutamic acid. One way to remember it is that both of the names contain acid at the end. So obviously they are acidic amino acids. Number C, if the solution comes out to be basic, then it's your basic amino acid. Basic amino acid. Basic amino acids include diamino monocarboxylic acid. So here's the structure. There's your carbon. To its hydrogen is attached, carboxylic group is attached, amino group is attached, and a side chain is attached. To this side chain, one more amino group is attached. Then that particular amino acid is basic amino acid. For example, you have lysine, arginine, histidine. All these amino acids, they contain amino group attached to their side chain. So that was the classification of amino acids on the basis of the chemical nature of the amino acid. Let's look at the third classification of amino acid. That is on the basis of nutritional importance. Nutritional importance. On the basis of nutritional importance, amino acids are either essential or indispensable amino acids, or non-essential amino acids. First, let's look at essential or indispensable amino acids. There's obviously a reason behind naming these amino acids as essential amino acid, and the reason is these amino acid, they cannot be synthesized by your body. So you obligatorily need to have it supplied externally. So it must be supplied externally. By externally, I mean through diet. So basically, these essential amino acids are essential to your body because your body itself can't produce these amino acids. You need to take these amino acids through diet externally, and that is why they are called essential amino acid, because they are essential in a way that you have to take it yourself. And they are called indispensable because you can't just neglect these amino acids. If you don't take these amino acids, your body won't be producing them by itself. These amino acids need to be taken obligatory because your body can't make them. There are 10 essential amino acids, which you can remember with the help of abbreviation private team hall, where each of the letters represent an amino acid. P stands for phenylalanine, V stands for valine, T stands for threonine, another T stands for tryptophan, I stands for isoleucine, M stands for methionine, H stands for histidine, A stands for arginine, L stands for leucine, and the last L stands for lysine. Among all these examples, arginine and histidine. Arginine and your histidine. These are actually semi-essential. Let me write it somewhere. So your arginine and histidine, these two, they are semi-essential. The reason being, your body is able to produce them by its own, but partially. Your body is partially able to synthesize arginine and histidine. That's why they are called semi-essential amino acids. Until or unless the word semi-essential amino acid is not mentioned, I want you to put arginine and histidine under essential amino acid. Okay. Number B. Number B include non-essential amino acids. The reason they are called non-essential amino acids is because they can be synthesized in human body. That's why you don't necessarily need to take them from external source or through diet. So they can be synthesized in human body and they are not required in diet. And that's exactly why we call them non-essential amino acids. They are not required in diet. There are 10 amino acids that are non-essential. So these are the 10 amino acids that are essential among the 20 standard amino acids. The rest 10 amino acids except these under the standard amino acids fall under non-essential amino acids. So you can name them on your own. Finally, number 4. So that was on the basis of nutritional importance. On the basis of nutritional importance, we have the essential amino acids that are essential to your body because your body are not able to make them on its own. So you need to take them externally with the help of diet. So-called indispensable amino acids because they are actually indispensable. You can't just neglect them. On the other hand, the second was non-essential amino acids because they are not so essential because your body is able to make them on its own. So that was amino acid on the basis of nutritional importance. Next is on the basis of, wait, let me get the hang of iPad. Okay, so next is on the basis of metabolic activity. So on the basis of metabolic activity, amino acids are of 3 types. Number A, glucogenic. Number B, both. And number C, ketogenic. Basically, glucogenic amino acids are those amino acids that upon metabolism gives glucose. And ketogenic amino acids are those amino acids that upon metabolism gives ketone bodies. However, there are few amino acids that are able to give both glucose and ketone bodies upon metabolism, and they are kept under both. So the examples are leucine and lysine are ketogenic amino acids. Isoleucine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, and tyrosine fall under both. I got the spelling wrong. So tyrosine fall under both. See, there are total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 amino acids have already been classified. Among the 20 standard amino acids, how many remain? 20 minus 6, 14. So the remaining 40 amino acids are glucogenic. Finally, this is the final basis of classification, and that is on the basis of polarity of side chain. So here's your amino acid, the carbon of the amino acid, which is connected with hydrogen, carboxylic group, amino group, and then there's your side chain. This side chain is either hydrophilic, that is, it loves water, that's why called hydrophilic, or it can also be called polar amino acid due to the presence of hydrophilic side chain. And then there's your hydrophobic side chain, which hates water. So you can call it non-polar amino acid. Under hydrophilic amino acid, there's your chargeless polar amino acid, chargeless, negatively charged polar amino acid, and positively charged amino acid. Under non-polar amino acid, there's your aromatic amino acid and aliphatic amino acid. The examples of which you can check it out on your own with the help of any book you have for biochemistry. And that's it for the classification of amino acid, and that's covers a majority portion of amino acid. The answer to the most famous question under amino acid, that is the classification of amino acid. Let me revise the whole thing for you in very short. Okay. So what are proteins? Proteins are the polymer of amino acids. So the monomer of protein is amino acid. One amino acid is connected with another amino acid with the help of peptide bond. Amino acid, there are a total of 300 of them in the nature. However, only 20 of them can synthesize proteins. And these 20 amino acids that are able to synthesize protein are called standard or normal or primary amino acid. Let's take an example of standard amino acid, glycine. You can represent it with the help of an abbreviated form or using a symbol. Structure of amino acid. The carbon atom is attached with hydrogen, carboxylic group and amino group and a side chain with the help of covalent bond, where the side chain is variable and it is the side chain that determines the type of amino acid. Classification of amino acid. It can be classified on the basis of structure of side chain. It can be classified on the basis of its chemical nature, on the basis of metabolic activity of amino acid, on the basis of nutritional importance of amino acid, and on the basis of polarity of side chain of amino acid. First, on the basis of structure of side chain of amino acid, we have aliphatic amino acid, hydroxy amino acid, sulfur containing amino acid, and dry carboxylic acid and their amide. Diamino wait, did I just say amino 3 times? Diamino amino acid, aromatic amino acid, amino acid or heterocyclic amino acid. Second, on the basis of chemical nature, they are either neutral amino acids, acidic amino acids, or basic amino acids. On the basis of nutritional importance, they can be essential or indispensable amino acids that are essential for your body because your body can't synthesize them on its own, and then non-essential amino acids that your body can synthesize on its own. And finally, second finally, on the basis of metabolic activity, they are either glucogenic, ketogenic, or both. And then finally, on the basis of polarity of the side chain, they can either be hydrophilic or polar, or they can be hydrophobic and polar.